Everyone for showing up this afternoon. 15 of us. Nice thing to do on a dreary afternoon. Anyway, Valley Arts is very pleased to do this. Our gallery is in the space that Judy once had her shop in. The retrospective, I think, was well thought out by Judy. It was a very easy show to hang. It's always easy to hang good work. So, anyway, I'll let Judy take over.
You can have a brownie. Okay, just a few words. First, thanks to Valley Arts, Dottie, Gary, board members, some of them here, and volunteers, because I see them over here when I was hanging the show, and to Peggy Potter, who helped arrange all of this too. And most of all to my husband, Jim, there you are, who, without whose help, I could never have done it. And all my friends here today. To tell the truth, I never really thought about having a retrospective. I didn't think that I was that old. But when I thought about it further, it intrigued me. Not everyone has a chance to go over their life's work, particularly in public, and say, did I do that? It's really eye-opening to watch my own creative processes through the years here on these walls, which were my shop and gallery, Tulip Tree, for 3 decades. And I do feel that too. I say, I did okay, and I'm pretty satisfied at 88.
While everybody's still here, just gather in a circle around here. We have a little treat for Judy.
On Sunday, October 2nd, 2016, in a show that celebrated Waitsfield artist Judy Dodd's 60-plus year creative career, Valley Arts presented a retrospective exhibition of Dodd's work at the Festival Gallery, which is housed in the same premises as the gallery she owned and operated for 30 years, Tulip Tree Crafts. The 25 works in a variety of mediums tell the story of Dodd's creative, colorful, and beautiful life well lived. Dodd's textile creations include pieces with hand-spun and dyed and woven fabric, applique and quilted wall hangings, watercolors and monoprints, and then her more recent works of hooked rugs. Judy has won numerous awards and honors for her work. She lives with her husband Jim, a writer and graphic artist, in a 150-year-old farmhouse in Waitsfield. Over her long career, Dodds has designed and fabricated dozens of Vermont landscape wall hangings, as well as a series of works with a cultural focus, using both applique and quilting techniques. Judy devised a special technique to create her windowscapes, in which she layers the fabric on muslin and then cuts away the backing to leave a translucent piece that makes some of her fabric landscapes and still lifes mimic stained glass.
I like to use the colors and textures of fabrics the way a painter uses paint and canvas to create spatial relationships and changes in mood. My wall hangings express my feelings for the beautiful Vermont landscape around me. My world, my kitchen window.
The 25 pieces in this show and 5 other works from previous exhibitions represent over 60 years of artistic experience and innovation, and a talent that inspires both other fabric artists and the many customers who have celebrated Judy's talent and aesthetic taste since her early teens.
If you look over here on the board is the little mock-up that I did. So I have already sewn this one, and this one. And we're just starting to lay this one out from our transparencies that we made from the slides that we blew off. This fabric is very, very slippery and very hard to work with. It's hard to sew, it's hard to cut. It's hard to do everything with. I'm going to take the plastic down to the table so it won't move. So the first thing I see here, I'm going to start from the bottom up, is this blue called sea blue, ocean blue, I think. I'm holding it up to the light because every one of these pieces of fabric has got some kind of flaw in it. So I have to be sure that it's not going to be used or not going to show in the finished piece. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to cut this through using these lines, which if you come up and do a close-up, you might be able to see through here. I have to cut the whites.
So you're cutting to the line on the polyethylene pattern, which is the second layer underneath there.
Now, you can't put pins in this because then the pinholes will show later. So the only thing I can do is to lay it out piece by piece, the way I did with this one. Now, here's panel number 3. This has been sewed except for this one piece. Now, this is panel 3. We have already cut all these pieces to its own pattern, and I've sewed most of them. And you notice how I have to roll it up to keep it from being too wrinkled as it's sewed. Now this one little piece here hasn't been sewed yet, And I wanted to show you that I use a spray, a light coat of a spray adhesive that's just like a temporary thing to hold the fabric and sew it. And I'm going to sew this piece now, just to show you how it's done. Anything this large is extremely difficult to handle, particularly this ripstop nylon, because it's stiff and it doesn't, you can't squinch it up the way you can regular fabric. So it makes this kind of a job 3 times as hard as any kind of regular cotton or velvet or anything. I'm using a ballpoint needle, and I'm also using a special feeder foot that helps, it feeds it at the top and the bottom evenly, without which this impossible job would not be possible. Now I'm going to sew this piece. I'm using a zigzag stitch and white polyester thread. Thread, because I'm going to tie these threads from the back, so they'll be very strong. This fabric could also be outside too. It would hold up pretty well.
What's the DVD deal? See, it says rights on the left side. Coming down. He did it again.
Okay, now this one has to hang down.
A big major problem. The restaurant was open on Monday, and they just informed us that the chairs are still on route together.
Okay, now see, this is where we get
That's
match
pretty
up.
impressive.
Okay, down. We gotta go down quite a bit, a foot. Well, 6 inches anyhow.
That looks great.
Oh, thank you. Okay, now. Now, see, we have to choose. You can now lower it and let's have a look. I don't think so. Finally, I think it's working okay. And the only criticism that we've had is when you come up the steps, you do see some white wall.
Well, I think that that's something, you know, the only thing you can do is get back there and move those this way. But if you
From the early 70s until 2003, Judy Dodds owned a gallery called Tulip Tree Crafts, which was in the space now occupied by Valley Arts Festival Gallery for most of its 30-year tenure, and where she sold her work and that of other Vermont artisans and extended her flair for art into painting and other mediums. When Judy sold Tulip Tree, she turned her attention to rug hooking. She began creating hooked rugs in the late 1990s after seeing an exhibition at the Round Barn in Waitsfield, and started a rug hooking group in the Mad River Valley, which is still active. In 2006, she and Jim made a 60-minute video called The Heart of Hooking, which tells the stories of rug hooking artists and the ideas behind their works. The video won the Vermont Historical Society Award for Excellence. The large hooked rug titled The Road Home was finished in 2012 and depicts the winding path that brought Judy Dodds to Vermont. She was born in New Orleans in 1927 and spent her early life in a cute little house on Lee's Circle, with the pillar with General Robert E. Lee's statue overseeing her determined efforts to learn to walk. After finishing her years at Country Day School, Judy studied art at Tulane University. She then moved to New York City to work in the theater and costume trades, where she met her first husband, sculptor Gene Seidenberg. The couple moved to Cape Cod for a short while and then back to New Orleans, where Judy spent 15 years as curator of textiles and decorative arts at the Louisiana State Museum. Judy's connection to Vermont began in the 1960s when she spent summers in the Mad River Valley with her family. She moved to Cambridge, Massachusetts after the end of her first marriage, where she was exhibits director at the Boston Children's Museum for 3 years. But preferring the natural beauty and openness of the Mad River Valley, she bought a house in Waitsfield in 1970 and moved here with her children. Judy married Jim Dodds in 1973 and opened Tulip Tree Crafts.
Sitting there, ready to go, step on the gas of my GTO, 389 under the hood, burning a Hummer just like it should.
Hello, I'm Alex McClay here in the Mad River Valley Television Studios with artist Judy Dodds, who has a retrospective next door to us at the Valley Arts Festival, currently on through December 30th. And it is an amazing show. I've seen it. I've been in several times. I hope everyone will get a chance to go watch it, go look at it. And actually at the end of our little conversation here, there's a video that Jim, Judy's husband, made, which is, again, a compilation of her long, long artistic career and the many different installations and pieces she's done for our venues around the valley.
Right. And around the
around the
country.
state, the country, yeah. And so you have had the most, first of all, you work in many mediums, right? What is currently the show is both your rug hooking and your what I call silk screening.
Well,
fabric.
Silk screening. It's more applique.
Okay.
Applique stitchery.
Fabric work.
Fabric,
right.
like painting with
Well,
fabric.
there's one of the pieces says stained glass.
Stained glass. So that's a whole technique that I can tell you about.
Right, it isn't glass, it's fabric, right?
No, it's fabric.
It's beautiful.
And actually, the video does show a part of the piece that big commission I did for the Sugarbush Sports Center.
Oh, the Sports Center.
The Sports Center. It is not up there now. I don't know why, but maybe it's, well, that would
Maybe
be
it got
many
dusted.
years. It probably got, well, but it was ripstop nylon.
Yeah. Oh.
And if anyone has ever tried to sew on ripstop
Oh, yes,
nylon,
I've made flags
it is-
before, and
yes,
it is-
flag
it
is-
slips
is
all
not
over the
easy.
place.
And this
Yeah.
was a very large piece. So there's the video has a whole section of that, and I explain how I did it. And it is a technique that I kind of invented, really.
Well, you have had so many different types of materials,
Right.
mediums that you've
Right.
worked in. There's the whole rug hooking phase.
Well,
as well.
that's what I'm doing
start?
now.
What did you
I don't
start
feel that's
with?
important.
Okay.
Okay. What did I start with? Gosh, I started actually with patchwork and a patchwork kit. I don't know if you remember, but right here in the next
tulip
door.
tree? Oh,
Tulip
yes.
tree,
You had that
my
for how
shop.
many years? I do.
I had that for 30 years.
Well, I wasn't much of a
Yeah.
stitcher.
No.
I was a glue gunner instead of a.
But I started actually when I was at the Children's Museum in Boston,
Mm-hmm.
and we were doing patchwork. We were doing all kind of crafts.
You were a curator there,
I was
right?
curator. Yes, I was curator of.
For how long there in
I was
Boston?
there for 3 years, but and before that, I had been the curator of the Louisiana State Museum in New Orleans for
What?
15 years. So I've been in and out of museums.
What brought you to Vermont? That's what always I
Oh,
ask people.
well, all right.
I want to know
Okay.
how they got here.
That's a long story.
Oh, well, the brief version.
The brief version, back in the 60s, because I have to say that I have just reached 89.
Oh my God! You can't.
I just
you can't
had
be,
a birthday
you can't
a
be
week
true.
ago.
That's
It
not
is true. It is true.
Oh my gosh!
It is true. I just
Well,
have
happy
a-
birthday.
Oh, thank you.
89. Oh
I
my
know.
gosh!
I'm going to have a big party.
Yeah,
next
I
year.
was going to say,
Yeah, right.
you know, and,
But-
and an even more retrospective.
Well, I think that's. I don't know if the gallery, next door,
Right.
was, really thought about that. But,
Right.
But I know that Gary and.
Well, who was the one you had mentioned earlier? That Peggy Potter was the one who
Peggy
said, "You've got to
Potter.
do this."
Yes, because Peggy's been a friend of mine for a long time, and she said something about that I should because I had a lot of work. I had like 30 years
Of work.
and that's what Jim's video is about. This is 30 years. But what brought me to Vermont? I'm
Yes.
going to go back to that.
Okay, good.
I was married before Jim to a sculptor and painter in New Orleans. I'm from New Orleans.
I was going to say
I'm a New Orleans
you don't
girl.
you don't even know that
I
until
know.
you say the word
Yes,
New Orleans, and then you
I
realize
am.
you
I
are.
am. And I
Okay.
grew up from a family of artists and people that always did things with their hands. My mother was a fabulous sewer. She could sew anything. My aunt was the art director of the Little Theater in New Orleans.
Oh, my
so I
goodness.
grew up around costumes and theater.
Right, making
so,
things.
So it was only natural that after I graduated, from Newcomb College, which is part of Tulane now,
Tulane, yeah.
the art school, that I would do that. But meanwhile, when I was only 19, I met an artist from New York. And he had come down to see his family, who was living in his mother and father, living in New Orleans. And we hit it off. I was moving to New York.
Before that.
Yeah,
I
right.
see.
And so
But that probably accelerated
So a year or so later, we got married.
That
To make-
accelerated it, right.
And those were the days, back in the 60s, 50s and 60s, when you got married early.
Yes, yes.
So Gene Seidenberg was his name, and is his name. And so I was married to him for 22 years, and also was curator of the State Museum for 15 of those years. So I had a lot of museum experience too. But at the same time, I was always doing
Doing your
crafts.
own work.
I was always doing crafts.
And you call it? I mean,
Yeah.
crafts. I know
Well,
some people
it is.
call crafts.
Now I call it's much more than
It's
crafts.
art.
It's art.
It's art.
It's definitely
it happens to be
art.
fabric, and it happens
yeah,
to
it
be.
just happened.
Yeah.
And so to get I don't know. We're kind of getting off on
Yes.
this, but to get back
to how you ended up in Vermont.
Yeah. So, Gene, my ex-husband, said, "Why don't we spend the summer in Vermont?" Because he was from New York City, and actually we had lived in New York City for a little while, and then moved back to New Orleans. And I said, "Vermont? Where is that?"
Yeah. What state is that in?
Yeah,
That's what people say. What state is that in?
So he said, "Well, I went up there, for, when I was just a kid, and I loved it." And he said, "Let's look into it." So at that time we had 2 small children, like 5 and 10, and so we looked at it. This is like 1961 or something.
Oh, the
We
valley
looked at
was
this.
just-
The valley was just getting started.
Just getting
Yes, it
started,
was
yes.
actually closer to the 70s, I think. And we found this booklet called Cottages and Camps for Rent.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so we
Yeah,
rented a house in Warren.
Was it a cottage or a camp?
It was really a nice old house, and we arrived there. It was like for 3 months. I think the whole summer it was $350.
Oh my gosh!
Can you imagine that?
I know. No,
So
that's
anyway,
what it is a week.
So we drive up to Vermont with 2 kids in the car and a dog, and we run. Opened. It was in Warren on
Main Street there. Then
no, up the road.
Okay.
Going. I
Brook
think
Road.
Brook Road. Yes, up that. And so we go into this nice old Victorian house, and there's nothing. First of all, the dog goes crazy because on the stove is a muskrat or something.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's some kind of a animal.
Muskrat, right?
Yeah, what is it? A skunk.
Okay.
So the dog chases that.
This is summertime.
This is summertime. This is June, but it's cold.
I bet. Yeah.
And there's nothing but bunk beds and
that was the camp part.
that was the camp part. Well, anyway, I'm gonna make this
Right,
very
right.
short.
So you came and loved it.
So yes, within 2 weeks, I was so in love with Vermont.
I get it.
And then we came back every summer till we were divorced, which was another 6 or 7 years. And then I moved to the Children's Museum in Boston, and then it was just natural that I would come up here and buy a house.
Right.
And that's what I did.
And you've been here ever since.
That was in '73. Yeah, and then I met my second husband. We
Right.
were my first one. We were divorced, and then I met Jim a couple of years after that. So, but meanwhile, I had opened Tulip Tree.
I do
Yes.
remember that very,
You do
very
remember.
well.
So I opened
Yes.
that in.
And it's where the Valley Arts is now.
And that's where Valley Arts
ironic
is.
that-
So that makes it, yes, it's a whole kind of a never-ending
Full circle.
circle.
Full circle. You've come full circle,
And
yes.
so it was so interesting to see my work in
Yeah.
that space.
I bet.
Where it
And
is.
it's beautiful. People really have to go check out
Yeah,
this exhibit.
well,
it is wonderful.
Yeah, and
I
I am not doing these big wall hangings like
Yeah.
are there anymore.
Well,
And
the
I
most
do-
beautiful one for
Which
me.
one do you like?
I love the Japanese. The
Japanese
the Japanese
influence. I was
influence.
very
I love
influenced by the
those.
Japanese.
I
The three
I grew up in
panel.
Southern California,
Right.
and my parents had some Oriental screens and art, and there were all sorts of Southern California had some Oriental influence to
Right.
it.
Right.
It was very.
I'm very influenced by that. I was very
So
influenced
I
by that.
very much.
Which piece did you like?
The one that's in the window of the Valley Arts.
that one, yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's
I love
very,
that. It reminds me of Hiroshige,
Uh-huh.
which
Yeah.
my parents had a few of,
Yeah.
and which is just I love the blue, the colors.
Well,
in it.
you're not talking
The one in the window. That's
the
facing
side
out.
window.
Yeah.
Yes, but that is a Japanese
Oh,
thing.
that's why I like
You
it.
better like what
Yeah, I do like the ones inside too.
No.
So that's the
But
influence part.
That's the
Okay.
influence, and I was trying to show Japanese
I
influences
got it.
by
Okay.
doing that. No, it's very hard to put anything in the windows over there because they fade.
Oh, you're right.
I knew
Yes,
that.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Well, but you also have the one that sort of looks like Fukushima inside.
yes, the one when you come in the door.
Yeah, that
and
big
it's
one I
on the
love
wall.
too.
Yeah,
That's
right.
beautiful.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I got into doing these 3 panels,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when I developed that stained glass technique,
Oh.
which shows in the video.
Mm-hmm.
I would make a drawing on muslin,
Mm-hmm.
plain muslin, and just
Cut it
lines,
out?
like Japanese mountains and stuff. And then I would cut out all of these transparent fabrics, cottons mostly, and sometimes
and layers
and and prints. You maybe see some prints.
Right.
All right, and then I would stitch them with a satin stitch on the sewing machine.
Oh wow.
And then came the work. Turn that over and take tiny little
scissors and cut it out.
Tiny little, like you would use on your
I would never have
and
the patience.
cut it. Yeah, I would. I wouldn't have the patience now.
Lordy,
for sure,
lordy, yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
So that gives them a transparent.
It does. Well, yeah, you said
and then you
glass.
could cut. You could, since they were layers of when I say transparent, I mean
fabric you could see through.
Fabric you could see through.
Right.
And I would take
translucent.
That's
the
no,
word. No.
Well, anyway,
Whatever the word is.
We don't care.
Yeah.
But so then I would cut them, from the back, and you could cut away whatever layers you want.
Right,
Sometimes there were 2 layers, and if you go and look in the
I'm going to look more carefully now because
you can turn it over. You can see where I have left things. So then, when I started doing those, I got a lot of architectural commissions.
Oh, I bet.
And so I have a big architectural commission down in Boston area, but that was an applique thing. But it's in the video.
Yes,
It's in
which
the
is
video, so
marvelous.
you'll
And
see.
Jim
So-
did that whole thing. The
Jim-
YouTube. It's
Jim
going to
is
follow our
marvelous.
show,
Jim
and
is-
it's also available online.
Right, right.
So it's just
Right.
a marvelous piece of work
Well, thank you.
documented your
Well,
whole.
I didn't even know it, and all of a sudden there's the story of my life.
Yes.
And so,
Well, selected pieces.
So I married well.
You did. Married a man of talent who
Right.
enjoys.
He is, and I think he should really make that as a career.
Well, he
But he
obviously
does do that,
enjoys
yeah.
shooking your talents with
Right,
his
right,
talents, and that's a
Yeah,
wonderful combination.
It is.
You're very lucky.
And we've only been married about 42, 43,
Oh, that's
44 years.
just a little speck of time.
Right.
Well, anyway, thank you for coming in.
well, thank
Is there
you.
anything last minute before people might listen to or watch the video or come see the show? Is there anything you want to leave them with?
It will be at the gallery for another month. It's been there for 2 or 3 months now, and I really, thank Gary and Dottie and all.
Yeah,
and-
the Valley Arts is a
and-
great
and-
organization.
Right, it is, and it serves our community. It
Right.
serves the artists in the community.
We'll put a little plug in for
Yeah,
them
we'll put
to
in
join.
for
They
the
need
gallery. Yes,
membership to keep
yes.
all this
And-
art free
yeah,
and
right.
all these events.
And also, I think that they could use volunteers too.
Oh,
like
wonderful.
every
docents, people to sit in the gallery,
right,
whatever.
Right, keep it open. But anyway, yes, they're doing a great job.
And
I
they
was
have
very
great
pleased.
artists.
And I also have to say, I have to thank Peggy Potter because it was her idea all along
Wow.
to have the show. And so the show it's all so nice together that, I don't know, we're talking about possibly
Some other places.
going to, some other places.
Right, maybe further from Montpelier or
Montpelier,
Burlington.
to Stowe, to the
Yeah,
bigger
we get people
galleries
down
there.
here, and particularly coming into
Right.
this Christmas
Right.
season. I think.
Well,
people
this will run through the first of the year.
Okay.
And then I don't know. Peggy and I are going to talk to you about it.
Good.
You know.
Well, make sure you see it, people.
Yes.
It is gorgeous.
And
It
it's
is-
free.
It's free, and it shows the incredible breadth of Judy's career. The rug hooking is wonderful.
Now I'm doing rug hooking. About
Okay.
10 years ago, I got into rug hooking.
Well, you and Jim made a wonderful video about that.
Yes, we did.
You know.
We made. That's how we got into it. Actually, we made a video. It's about a 40-minute video.
Yeah, we still have it.
You do?
Yes, we have
Okay,
copies of it.
play
It wasn't one of the ones
play
that
it sometime.
I will. It
Because
wasn't one of the
there's
ones
a lot
that
of people in the valley here. I started a group.
the Rug Hookers, right.
And the group, we meet every Saturday.
The hookers.
The hookers, yeah, the hookers. And,
Yeah.
they're very active.
Yes.
They're
Well, and
very
there's a
active.
whole show, isn't there? Is it at the Green Mountain Cultural Center
Yes,
anymore, or
yes.
is
No,
it
well,
up in
it-
Shelburne?
No, that was just a month or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But there is,
Well, there's a lot of interest in
yeah,
fabrics, and there's a lot of the new woolery that's
Right.
started up. People are
Right.
very
Nice.
Fabric
Yeah,
has
I
come
think-
out of the craft mode and into the
I think into the art world.
into the art world and into the very functional art
Right,
world. You know, I
right,
mean,
right.
they're hats that are pieces of art. Anyway,
Well,
we
thank
won't
you
keep you
so
any
much,
longer.
Alex.
We're going to go into the video now, and hopefully people will come to the show
Yeah.
at the Valley Arts Festival through the month of December. The gallery's there. There's a lot of other wonderful artists
Oh, there are.
shown too.
I think
so
45 artists
it's amazing.
in this area.
And there's classes and workshops, so be a part of your valley with the way the arts
Right.
forms it.
I would recommend it.